What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you see, check out the entire episode at patreon.com/partywithstrategy. Every single week is a bonus episode. That's 4 episodes a month for $5. In a time where everything's overpriced, we're bringing back the clearance rack, baby. Let's go, champ. We'll see you over there. Enjoy the preview. Let's go, baby. Welcome back to the Party with Strategy podcast. Very special guest. Brand new lighting in the studio today. We're testing it out. We're getting it right. Diamond Cut the God is on the job. My boy, STVN LEON, has entered.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling?
Feeling great, man. Thank you for having me. I've been watching the pod for quite a while, and this is a sick setup, and I'm stoked to be here. So thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming through. I want to start by reminiscing a little bit because I feel like we met. I feel like you were rolling around with the Be Nice boys, right? Is that when we met?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's kind of like where I got introduced to you back in the El Jefe Tuesday days.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, we were always running around, young kids, having a good time, you know.
Yeah. So. Well, that had to be 2017, 18, something like that,
yeah,
right?
like 17.
We were doing Tuesdays at Jefe. Mm-hmm. We found Maximo Quiñones. Come on, bro. I'm out here. And Nick, I've been talking to Nick, trying to get him potentially on the pod too. Be Nice is like not a thing anymore, right? It kind of
I mean, I can't really speak on it, but yeah, I mean, everyone kind of does their own thing now, which is dope. But like the fundamentals of like the whole movement, we're all still homies, though, you know.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Be nice.
Were you where were you playing back then? What's like your introduction to Chicago nightlife scene?
They helped me get my foot in the door for sure. First couple of like gigs when I was like fresh 21. I can remember like Trophy Room.
Oh yeah.
Trophy Room. Like Happy's, you know, everyone remembers Happy's.
Happy's, I forgot about Happy's. That was Max Bar turned into Happy's, yes, right? And then Happy's is now Never Have I Ever.
Yep. I haven't been there since, but yeah, all like core memories of back then are definitely at Happy's.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that street's a little bit of a ghost town these days in terms of like partying and shit.
Yeah, I've like I said, I haven't been there in so long. Even just like I think it's Lincoln Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't been down that street in so long. I'd be down to go, but I mean, I don't even know what's going around there now.
They throw some cool parties. I know Don Brown is a part of it, and then I've heard rumblings of maybe switching or adding ownership, management. I don't know. I'm not gonna divulge information publicly that I don't know fully of, but the streets are talking.
The streets are talking.
The streets are talking. Were you always making music back then? I mean, were you making music before you were DJing, or did you start DJing and then start making music?
So I always say DJ first, and then because I started DJing when I was like 10, so you kind of over time you develop the ear, you know, of like what works with what. And my productions back then, when we probably first met, it wasn't how it is now, but like, you know, over time, like if you practice anything, like you get better at it. So since then, exponentially my music has gotten so much better because I've just been putting in the work, honestly. But yeah, like I was always a DJ first, and then started diving more into like the production world. And yeah, from there I just realized that like to make your name for yourself, you have to make music. So that's kind of what I've been on all these years.
Okay. And you work, I don't know how closely you've been following the pod, but there has been a strong stint of me releasing some aggression and anger on the Treble Monsters. And I know that you work closely with them. And I think I've kept it pretty tame in terms of like making sure that all of my homies that work with them know that I'm not talking shit about them. It's more just the the business of being a local booker, not even necessarily Trouble Monsters themselves. I don't hate. I just hate the business of it. I hate the way that it is formatted, and I think that it could be done better. That's always been my argument. But you're definitely one of their all-stars, I would say. There's a lot of people on that roster, and I think that you're definitely crushing it.
Thank you, bro.
And yeah, I don't want to drag you into deep water here, but I just felt like I needed to say that.
Did you have Kais on here? You had Kais
I did
on,
have
right?
Kais on here, yeah, and that was like when I
love
first.
Kais.
It's when I
Shout out
first
Kais.
came back. Yeah, I mean, I don't not like Kais. That's like my whole point. Is like, I'm talking shit, yes, but I also want it to be known that it's like not on a personal level of like I don't like him. It's like the idea of like booking people and taking a cut of it and like just the whole thing. I think
I see what you're saying.
I feel like
Gotcha.
yeah, I feel like it's an archaic business practice that could be reformatted in a better way. And I had the DJ Firm guys on here and we talked about it, and it was like a fucking really dope and productive conversation. And at the end, it was like they saw my point of view and I saw their point of view, and we both agreed that like if we created something between the two, it could evolve better for everybody.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
So it was definitely tight. But you've been DJing since you were 10?
Yeah.
At like quinceañeras or where were you DJing when you were 10?
I'll give you a little quick backstory. Quinceañeras is crazy. So yeah, basically I kind of like, my brother used to like want to be a DJ, and he bought this old Stanton setup, like CD players, right? And then he kind of like never followed through with it, so I kind of picked it up after school. I would just like come around and mess around on the CDJs, or not even CDJs, like CD players back then. And it just like became a hobby. And then as I got older, I'm sure everyone remembers LimeWire. I was burning like 100 CDs a day maybe, with those big stack ones that I would buy or have my parents buy.
Yeah.
And then I found out that like Guitar Center had like the CDJ setup. And at the time, the 1000 MK3s was like top of the line. So I always wanted to play on them. And then after school, when I was still in like elementary school, 5th, 6th grade, I don't even remember, I'd actually have my mom drop me off at Guitar Center, and I'd be there just ripping it, not even knowing how to beat match. I learned it over time. And I would be there for hours and just mess around on the CD players while people were like shopping, and I'd have like the master turn up to like 5 o'clock. And but that's where I met like a bunch of people actually, and they all just saw me as like a little kid mess around, but like gradually over time I got better and better, and I realized that, so I just basically had like a part-time job there.
You were providing the tunes for everyone?
I was providing the tunes, yeah. I mean, and thankfully like all the guys that worked there, they're very cool about it. Like anytime they saw me, they're like, hey man, like welcome back, how you been? Like, you know, they knew I would just come to like mess around in the CDJs, and they never minded anything about it. They let me do my thing, and then by the time they closed, I'm like, yeah, mom, come pick me up.
That's tight.
And
Which
yeah,
Guitar Center was it? I always felt like I had bad experiences at Guitar Centers. Like people were always pricks, but that could, it could have just been me.
It was the one on in Arlington Heights.
Okay, I know it.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was like my childhood story, honestly. Like the people that always saw me there, they've been there for years. So like, I would always like come buy stuff. Even when I started making some money, like I started buying my own equipment. And that's when I met my boy Simone. I don't know, you know Simone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he used to work there. And
for real?
Yeah, like back in the day.
That's hilarious.
And I'll never forget like the first time I ever like saw like the CDJ setups. I was like, this is insane. Like, kid in a candy store. And he's a fire DJ. So I'd always just like watch him scratch, like, and it was just like mind blowing. Cause like, at the time I was always listening to like Flipside at 5, like all the DJs that would be on the radios, like how crazy like their scratches are, So practicing that here and there, I picked up a lot from that era, from that time back then. But yeah, that's where I always was, man. I learned how to DJ there, and then little by little, I started DJing like my junior high dances. There's actually a funny picture with like I had one completely new mark CD player, and then this little shitty yellow 2-channel mixer, and then the Staten CD player, with me wearing a Adidas t-shirt with like an American Eagle zip up hoodie. I'm like, who let me dress like that? It's crazy. But it's a funny picture. It's cool to like look at that. I was like a toddler back then, and now like to what it's become, it's pretty sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tight. It's always fun to look back and reminisce on where you came from. That's so funny that you met Simone at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
And now you guys are both just out here crushing it.
Trying, man. And then I mean, even as I got older, I started. I played a lot of sports back then. So, I don't know how it happened, but look, in high school they started letting me DJ the football games,
like on the field and shit.
Yeah,
that's pretty lit.
I had the coolest like I think what they call them, the athletic coordinators, like that run the whole athletic department. He had a crazy idea to like have the DJ for the football games, so they let me just like bring all the equipment. I brought like 2 tops and a sub, and I would just like rip it in between like when they would score a touchdown or in between like little plays. I would just like play a drop for like 5 seconds, and that's when the big room era was like popping. So I was playing Tremor, 3 2 1 jump. Like people were going nuts. It was so fun.
Nice.
And they even gave me a budget, and we got a CO2 gun. So I would like stand up on the sub and like had the drop go off, and I would just like start shooting people with the CO2 gun.
That's pretty lit. So what, that was like 2014, 2015?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there?
That's when like the big room era was like exploding. So everyone knew all the music, you know. And that's when I was like just getting like sucked into that world heavily. And so it's cool that they let me do that. So I did my homecoming, my prom, my senior prom. I played like all those big dances, and yeah, from there I started trying to get into the nightlife, and then obviously everyone I feel like has gone through Zero Gravity, you know, Zero Gravity, Medusa, like all those teen clubs. Like that's really where I got my first step in the door for like nightlife.
At Zero Gravity?
Yeah, and Medusa.
Where was Medusa?
Medusa was in Elgin.
Okay.
Yeah, keep in mind I had my parents driving me everywhere at that moment. Like I didn't even have a driver's license, and they would just take me to the club. I'd play, and then they'd like wait outside until my set's over.
That's pretty tight. So they were supportive.
Oh yeah, they always been.
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope. I had supportive.
They've seen the vision
well.
since day one, honestly.
Nice. Hell yeah. That always helps for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's pretty lit. I like that. So Zero Gravity, Medusa, and then what's next from there?
From there, I mean, I wasn't even 21, so like, this is a quick story that's kind of funny. Like, I met RV Mala. Like,
RV Mala.
Oh, I don't even know how I met him or how we met, but I remember he's like, "Yo, I want to have you play this event," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm down." And he didn't know that I wasn't 21, and I'm pretty sure it was Excalibur at the time,
where Tao is right now. Yeah.
Yes, and I show up, you know, with my backpack. My parents are driving me, and I pull up to the door, and and basically they're like, "You're not getting in. You're not even 21." I was like, "Oh well, I'm DJ." They're like, "No, you're not." So like I call RV. I was like, "Hey man, they're not letting me in." He's like, "Dude, I didn't know you were 21. Like, I'm so sorry, man, but like, you know, I can't do nothing." So I was like bummed, and that was, I don't even know how old I was, but he's like, "Dude, hit me up when you're 21. Like, we're gonna get you gigs, all this." So that, like, I think it was like 2 or 3 years between that time that.
And wait, okay, so just to backtrack for 1 second, is this at the time when RV is still running GLC? He's in the promo game?
I think so, yeah.
So he's probably throwing a party at Excalibur, and as all good promoters do, he's looking for a young DJ that'll do it for free. And you're a young, hungry DJ that'll do it for free, so you guys connected.
Yep.
Where did you meet RV?
That's what I don't remember, man. Remember. I feel like it was Medusa, because it was definitely not like, it was so weird. But the thing between like Zero Gravity and Medusa, like the owners, if they found out you were playing at the other spot, they'll never book you there again.
Such a classic nightclub rivalry. DJs get stuck in the middle of at
For
every
real.
level of the game. I mean, I feel like from when you're fucking 18 playing at teen clubs,
Yeah.
you have that all the way. I got to imagine even, you know, John Summit's dealing with that when he's doing fucking arenas or whatever it is, theaters. Like, oh, you played at that theater? Well, you can't play at this one. Like, I feel like that never goes away.
Yeah. I felt that at a young age for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I will say that luckily in Chicago, there wasn't a ton of that. Like in comparison to like Arizona, like that shit is.
That's how
if
it is
you
out there?
work, yeah. If you work for one company, that's the only company down there you work for. You don't play at the competitors' clubs. Like,
Oh, damn.
Like it's not even a like. There's not even like one DJ that does it. There's not like one guy who broke the mold. It's like very strict. Like you fucking play with us or you play with them.
Damn.
And in Chicago,
Cutthroat.
it's pretty cutthroat. I think there's a lot of deep-rooted hate over there.
Yeah.
And they sort of brought that to Chicago a little bit with like Hefe and Bottle Blonde. And I remember dealing with that, being like a bottled resident, but doing some Sundays at Hefe, and they would get mad, and we would kind of have to stand our ground and be like, yo, that's not really how we do it here in Chicago. Like, I understand you guys have a rivalry back there, but you're like doing shit over here now. So you got to kind of.
Damn, I never knew that. Are they that company from Arizona?
Both of them are, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, that as much as that is relevant in Chicago, at least, we've skated, we've gotten pretty lucky for sure.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see an issue with it. I mean, like, unless you're like John Summit, like, who's really keeping track, like, how many times you're playing at one venue, you know?
It's just like a matter of, I think there's pride involved. I think there's a lot of ego involved. I think there's a lot of like, well, this opportunity that we're giving you and this money that we're paying you is valuable enough to try and swing our dicks around and be like, hey man, if you want to take this money and play at our dope club, like you got to ride with us, like have loyalty.
Yeah.
And that's one perspective. I mean, I won't say that there isn't any like value in that, like to be loyal to one person and whatever is cool, but also why wouldn't you look at it like, if I go play at this other club and I'm playing for a different crowd who doesn't know who I am, and now they like what I'm doing and they're following me, and then I come play here next week, those people that liked what I was doing over there and now follow me on Instagram, see I'm playing here, I'm trying to get them over here.
Yeah.
Like that was always our argument, you know? Let me build my brand. Let me get in front of as many people as possible so that I can use that to bring it back to you.
No, I agree with that for sure. I mean,
You know?
at the end of the day, isn't that what they want? Like, bring heads, sell tables, sell bottles,
Unfortunately, yeah.
bar tab, you know?
We are in a bit of a weird and semi-stale space, I think, in nightlife in general, where it's bottle service era is sort of coming to a close. Dance floors are coming back a little bit. And with that sort of brings more spotlight on the DJ. Like it's tougher for some DJ who doesn't really know how to DJ but can bring a crowd or a couple tables to get away with like sustaining your venue by DJing when it's kind of more focused on the dance floor and the general population, and it's not really focused on tables. Very exciting news. Brand new sponsor for the show. Shouts to Long Drink. They see the vision. If you guys like what's going on here, you got to go buy some Long Drink. Thank you for watching. We'll be right back. Check this out. All right, party people, you know how it is. Late nights, great music, and that perfect vibe. And what's a better way to elevate the night than with a refreshing drink in your hand? I'm talking about the Finnish Long Drink. If you haven't heard of it yet, the Long Drink is not just any drink. It's a legendary Finnish favorite that's been around since the 1952 Summer Games. It's a deliciously refreshing blend of premium liquor, natural grapefruit flavor, and just the right amount of carbonation. It's smooth, crisp, and perfect for any occasion, whether you're chilling with friends, getting the weekend started, or just winding down after a set. And the best part? It's super convenient. No need to be a mixologist. Just crack the can and you've got a perfectly mixed, ready to drink cocktail. Whether you're into the classic, zero, or strong, there's a long drink for everyone. So next time you're tuning into the show or spinning your own beats, grab a long drink and take your night to the next level, because good vibes deserve great drinks. Cheers to the perfect mix. Music and long drink. Let's go, champ. Let's get back to the show. Thank you guys for watching. Shouts to Long Drink. Make sure you go grab one. Peace.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've noticed too. Like when I first started like getting into the nightlife, it was always like bottle service this, bottle service that, and people like wanting to hear what they want to hear. Now I feel like as a DJ, you kind of have like more leeway of playing what you want to play, but you still got to kind of cater the crowd, but do it in like doing it in your own way, you know? That's why like I feel like all the spots I'm playing at now, like sometimes I get the email the next day like, hey, you went a little too hard, but I was like, look, I still like, the crowd was lit. They had a great time.
Well, what does a little too hard mean? Like, what are they trying to tell you?
Probably less house.
But if like, is it because they have an identity that they're trying to keep and they don't want as much house music?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what? I don't want to burn you up, but I'm curious as to like what place doesn't want house music.
I mean, not any like venue specifically, but like definitely like some venues are like more open format, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how it's always been. But then here comes me just ripping a house set, headlining slot. But like I don't like, I'll play hip hop. But I mean, obviously I love playing house more. It's more fun. It's like you can do it in so many different ways, still cater like, you know, even just like the house remixes, mashups, like people eat that up, especially if you're playing peak hour. Like it don't matter like what time it is, you know, like if you're doing good, like people will enjoy it. But yeah, sometimes like, you know, they're like, oh, you need to play a little more hip hop. So I'll just be like, all right, and I'll just start throwing in some edits, mashups, and
that's
and
crazy.
Like that.
I mean, where are you DJing at Light? Where are you playing that they're like, yo, we need more hip hop? No, I mean, I'm kidding. There is a lot, because it's like, I think that mostly comes from trying to sell tables, because it's the tables that want the hip hop for the most part at this particular moment. I think that's
exactly what it is. I mean, there was one time, I'm not gonna name a venue, but one of the managers came up to me. He's like, hey, like there's someone here. I forgot who was, some basketball player, I think. And the whole squad pulled up and I was just ripping house, you know, and they're like, oh, you got to play hip hop. I was like, all right, I'm telling you, I'll play it. But like, as soon as I play hip hop, this crowd is going to be dead. So I transitioned into like hip hop for a little bit, and the people were just not vibing it. Cause like I had the groove going, and like still, it wasn't just like 4x4s. You had vocals, you had everything that people recognize. And he's like, you need to play some more hip hop. I was like, all right, like I'll do it. Like, you know, if you ask me to do it, I'll do it or whatever. And I did it, and I just lost complete control of the crowd. Like, and that's like the worst feeling, because now like you have to build it up from scratch again, and it's not the same once you lose it, because people leave, people like will go somewhere else, will go to the bar, and then by the time you're trying to like build it back up, like the vibe is just not there. And especially like when you're doing like a peak hour slot time, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But I think that like with that, everything you said is true for sure. But the more that you do that, the more you do ruin your groove and dance floor for selling bottles or appeasing management or whatever it is. That in and of itself is a skill, right? To ruin your dance floor and get them back. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
100%.
So like the first couple times you might be like, damn, this fucking sucks. Like it feels shitty. You're mad at yourself. You're mad at them for asking you to do it. But
you do get better.
You do get better at it. You learn little tricks on how to, you know, you little combos that can do it and whatnot. And that's like that was a big thing, is like playing dumbass bottle service presentation songs, like the Star Wars theme and shit like that. That just completely ruin the room. But then you kind of learn how to get out of them and get back to what you were doing.
Yeah,
you know.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's happened so many times, but like you said, you get better over time, like doing it every like, because I was like I said, I was DJ first, so I was always doing that, like catering to the crowd. But like now, I'm trying to like narrow down like what I'm like where I'm playing and what I'm playing, because I enjoy doing more house shows, like doing like the direct support shows that they put me on is, I'd rather do those shows than 10 open format gigs, because you're not going to level up as a local act if you're just consistently playing like the open format gigs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is like the most, those are like the hardest, I don't know, that's the toughest route to navigate is like,
Yeah.
I want to be a DJ, but I want to be a producer, but I can make all this money DJing. But the more I do that, the less I'm taken seriously as an
For sure.
artist. Like that whole balance of DJing, producing, and I mean, most people say that you have to stop doing a lot of the club shit and like
Mhm.
stop making yourself so available, right?
Right.
Have you found that that's working for you? Is that something you're
Um,
consciously doing? Is like
yeah.
DJing less, but when you are DJing, it's more of a spotlight on you, or it's more of something that aligns with the brand you're trying to go for. You're doing direct support for a house artist or
Mhm.
whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like have been trying to navigate that route this year, and I feel like I've definitely seen some progress, whether it's, a small show or a big show, but like they're putting me on for what they know me for.
Which is what? Because we are gonna get into listening to some of your unreleased shit and listening to tracks
Yeah.
and whatnot, and that will be on the patreon.com/party with strategy. We're gonna get high. We're gonna listen to some music. I'm excited for
Hell
it.
yeah.
But like, yeah, what kind of stuff are you making?
I'm right now. So I was all over the place when I started producing. And like I was telling you earlier, that like the big room era was like my shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always loved the massive festival drops. I mean, I think from like going to like Spring Awakening at Soldier Field, like those who went to that shit, like that was just like the pinnacle of EDM. And those are like memories I'll never forget. Like just seeing like all these DJs like playing these stadiums, and like the energy was unmatched back then. And I think I just wanted to kind of reciprocate that. So I kind of like when I started making music, I wanted to make music like that. So I was just like copying people's music and like trying to like make it my own. But over time, I kind of stuck with that sound, and then within the last like I'd say probably like 3 years, I've definitely like shifted more towards the housey part, like I say like minimal, deep house, tech house, because it's like impossible to like not be like influenced, especially like being from out here, like it's everywhere. Everyone's doing it. And especially like the last year, there's just been such an influx of like new producers and DJs, and everyone's just ripping house, tech house, all that. And I kind of right now am like using my old sound and trying to infuse it with like the new sound, because like I've been making a lot of house recently, and like now I'm just trying to like add those little elements that I used to back then and just trying to infuse it and make my own lane. Um, which I've definitely have like there's a lot of songs that I've been making that I'm actually a fan of my own stuff, which is very important. And it's been hard, but right now I'm just like making, I'd say like more like the deep house tech house is kind of what like I've been making.
Okay. So what are some of the, like, over the past year when you've been actually focused on turning gigs down that aren't necessarily gonna do anything for your brand, but it's a paycheck?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a paycheck. Like, I mean, it's so hard to find something else where you're gonna make X amount of money for the work you're putting in, because it's a good time. I feel like sometimes we overthink or over like look like how blessed we are to be doing that as a job. And not a lot of people want to be in the position we're in. So it's hard to like turn down a paycheck, because money, you need money, right? But I've noticed that my rate has gone up like sometimes without me even asking, playing a shorter slot and doing a direct support slot at a big club for XYZ, you know, headliner. And yeah, I mean, turning down, I haven't been turning down everything, but like I've definitely have, because like I used to do like, you know, back when we were doing like the Be Nice stuff, it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And now I'm probably doing like 4 to 6 gigs a month. So it's definitely like cut in half, you know. But the gigs are more selective, and like I enjoy doing them, because like sometimes it just got so redundant, you know, doing the same set, like open format, hip hop, house, repeat. And this is probably another topic we'll hop into, but like I just feel like there's not any good hip hop recently. So
Yeah, I mean, hip hop is absolute garbage at the moment.
yeah, like
And
back then it was everything was bumping, but like now, like I generally don't know like where to even find it. Like even on the record pools that I'm signed to, you know, not signed to, like subscribe to, it's just like just ass.
there's not a lot of great stuff coming out right now. It's not good, and I think that every genre goes through that at some point, and it's going to take
Yeah.
some sort of reinvention, some sort of new sound, like Tommy Richmond kind of Million Dollar Baby was a dope hip hop song that
Yeah.
came out. And I think if people lean into that, they see that that's what's working right now, we're going to start to get some cool stuff, hopefully
Yeah.
soon. I mean, the sooner the better, because the more genres that we can go through in a night, the more fun we can have with the crowd, the more
Exactly.
places you can take them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it does get a little tough to be playing
The same Drake song.
the same Drake songs, the same Waka Flocka songs, which all work,
Yeah.
but it takes a toll on you as a DJ, because you start getting in your head and you're like, I've been playing this fucking song for the last 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
And like, am I even good at this if I can't? Am I a good DJ if I've just been playing the same fucking Drake song for the last 10 years? You know what I mean? Like
No,
that shit
100%.
starts to get in your head.
Yeah.
Give us some goddamn new hip hop to play.
For real. Someone out there, please do it.
Yeah.
But I think going back, I knew it was going to go on a tangent with that, because I feel like a lot of people can agree with that. But yeah, I guess turning down gigs, you know, has been, I'd say it's paying off. I mean, like I did like my first out of state headline in Des Moines, Iowa this year. And that was like pretty eye opening, because I was like, you know, everything was like covered, like flight, hotel, you know, all the logistics side was taken care of. And I was like, man, who's going to come out and see STVN LEON in Des Moines, Iowa? Let alone I've never been there in my life. And the turnout was amazing. Like, you know, I played the set I would play as like a headliner, you know, played a lot of my stuff from my catalog, unreleased music, homies music, and people just loved it. Like, and that was kind of like eye opening for me, like this year, because I'm like, man, like if I can do the like gigs like this like 2 or 3 times a month, like I'm doing something right. And then just seeing like how far like music that I've made has just gone a little bit is like, you know, I'm doing something right. I just gotta keep doing that.
Yeah, for sure. So how did that even come about? I mean, you got your first headlining gig in a different city. Was it like promoters that reached out? Was it someone from here that heard you play that wanted to help you out and they had connections over there? I mean, how did that even...
So it was actually a promoter from out there. I never met him in my life. He just slid in my DMs. He's like, hey, at the time, I put out, me and Nick put out Party Line, and that came out on Hexagon, and it did decent, you know, but like, I didn't think I would ever get anything out of that track. And then this guy DM'd me. He's like, hey, I throw this house party here in Des Moines, like, loved your song Party Line, would love to have you out. I was like, sick, like, you know, let's work up rate, you know, talk about logistics. And then I actually pushed that to Trouble Monsters, and they did like the whole logistics side, contract, everything.
Okay, that's dope. So that's a plus of being with the Trouble Monsters.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know
they're handling some of that stuff for you as if you're one of their artists when that comes about.
Mm-hmm.
That's tight.
Yeah, I mean, There's a lot of like back end things that people don't realize that Trouble Monsters does. Like, yeah, they do a lot of bookings, but as an artist that works for them, they've definitely like do a lot of the back end for me, especially for gigs like that. Like, if I had something like that come across my plate, I'd rather have them like try to negotiate a better rate than me, you know. And it just looks better if you have like a management team or like representing you.
Yeah. So is that something that they're doing, is like representing artists more so than just booking DJs?
Yeah, if you're an exclusive artist with them, yeah, they do that side. So it's
Who's on their exclusive artist roster?
so it's me, Forte, Danger Wayne, Tomcat, I think Steve Smooth. Um, I don't. I feel like I'm missing a couple of people, but
I'll look it up.
yeah, it's a lot
Is
of
it
good
like,
talent,
is
man.
it on their website and shit?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of good talent. But yeah, they definitely helped out with like the negotiation side. We got a way better rate. Like, yeah, they still got their cut, but I still got paid more.
Yeah.
And
That's the goal, right?
yeah.
If they're taking a percent, they should want to be able to extract the most amount of money possible, because the more money they can get, the more they get paid.
Yeah.
You know, like that's where it makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely made sense because I feel like all parties were happy, and everything was, you know, included in the contract. You know, flight, hotel, transportation, everything was, you know, there. And like for me, that was like the first time that's kind of ever happened. So it was like, this is cool. Like this is, I fuck with this. And
That's really tight.
yeah.
I can relate. I recently played that Will Ferrell show, White Shadow, hooked it up, and like they sent a fucking car to pick me up from the crib,
Sheesh.
drove me over there. I'm getting dropped off at the artist entrance. Like I was a legit artist. Like they, you know, the people doing the event, they don't know really the difference between DJ strategy and, obviously they know the difference between DJ strategy and Swedish House Mafia, but then there's like people in the middle who I don't think they necessarily know who Mads is, you know, and Mads is like she's traveling the fucking world DJing and shit, but like to them they just see a piece of paper that's like, all right, Mads getting dropped off at this time, go take care of her. Strategy's getting dropped off at this time, go take care of him. So like I'm getting treated that way for the first time ever. And it was really fucking eye-opening. So I could definitely relate to that, you know?
Yeah, very cool feeling. And yeah, I mean, the hospitality that I had out there in Des Moines was amazing. Like, you know, the promoter, like, picked me up from the airport. He dropped me out at the hotel. He checked me in, like, the whole 9 yards. He took me, you know, out for dinner before the show. But yeah, the hospitality was amazing. And the turnout was great. So yeah, like I said, it's an eye-opening experience. So I was like, I gotta keep doing stuff like this.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's not happening in Chicago.
Yeah, yeah, that's tight. Well, it's good that you're leaning into that and it's becoming fruitful. You know what I'm saying? Now, and the other thing is, I mean, I think it's important. I've always been like, oh man, if you're gonna be a DJ, like you gotta be a fucking full-time DJ. Like you're a bitch if you have a day job and DJ. That was like my mentality for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And me and Dolo, we used to even talk about Jake like that. You know, we'd be like, he wants to DJ so fucking bad, but he's still got his day job. Like jump off, you know, take the leap. Let's go, baby. Go full time. And like it will pay off, but it's scary. Yeah. But that's why, like, if you take that risk, it'll happen. That was my mentality for a long time. But now I'm starting to realize, after burning the fuck out off DJing and starting to be like, damn, like I've turned something that I love into strictly work, and now I kind of hate it. I have a completely different perspective. I think that if you have a job and you're able to keep doing what you love and keep it as something that you love, I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a blessing and a curse, because obviously you have a steady income, you know, you have insurance, benefits, all that comes with the day job. But there's some times where I'm like, man, I just want to do music. And especially when you're riding a little wave that you built, like you want to make that wave bigger, you know. And it's hard when you're putting 40 hours towards something else, and then you think about like, damn, if I put those 40 hours towards, you know, my music, or even just like the marketing, there's so much stuff you can do as an artist, you know, that you have to build. All that time that I would put in would change things drastically, I feel like. But I don't know, everything comes with time. It's definitely something I've been thinking about recently. But
about going full-time music.
Yeah. Taking that leap of faith, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that you got to risk it to get the biscuit sometimes.
For sure. And that's kind of like, I've always been like a go-getter type of person. So I don't want to grow old and be like, damn, what if I did do it? Or what if, you know, I don't want to do the what ifs.
No regrets.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not there just yet, but like it's definitely been something in my head just thinking about it. But yeah, logistically, it's very tough.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying makes sense. Like if you are grinding 40 hours a week on a job, and like that is a lot of time, 40 hours extra a week that you could be putting into something that is working. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I mean, shit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'll probably do it someday eventually, because I definitely want to go through that struggle as an artist, you know, because we all definitely learn something from your fails, you know. Yeah. Even if you're not making money, or you always somehow find a way to like either make ends meet, or, you know, make time for something that you want to do. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, TBD. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay locked in. STVN LEON on Instagram. No E's. No E's. Is that what it is? No vowels.
No vowels in Steven.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It took me forever, because before STVN LEON, it was DJ Dash, and that's like my junior high school era. And then when I started making music, I was like, I can't release music under DJ Dash, so I got to change it. And I didn't know what the hell I was going to name myself. So someone just told me, just use your name. Just use your full name. I was like, nah, that's just kind of whack.
Just too many E's,
So I slashed the E's. I don't know what I thought about when I was thinking about that, and then I did it. And
it's a good look.
It's stuck like that ever since. So
it's tight. Well, yeah. I want to take a piss first and foremost, but then when we come back, I want to listen to your music. We'll get set up, and we'll be on the Patreon. Go over there, patreon.com/partywithstrategy. We'll be able to hear all this man's exclusive stuff, and I'm excited to get high. Let's be back.
Well, all right. Battle raps, cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin. That's what I love about the human soul. It'll usually show when the truth ain't told.